Hey, this video is a little bit different than my usual videos, and to be honest, it's actually very hard because usually, even if I try to do something personal, my brain is running against and trying to play, oh, what kind of hook should I now do? How can I make this interesting? Or do I have to serve the algorithm? Hey, nobody really cares. You have to make a video so that the people actually click it. And what I tried on my YouTube channel for the last like 2 years is to always find a topic that is at least for someone interesting and I solve a problem or something. But today in this video, I actually I wrote down like a couple of points that I want to talk about that I was a bit quiet about, and it has a bit more to do with my struggles. And I can tell you one thing already, it's not that kind of video where I figured it all out and this is my journey and I fall down and I crawled out again and yay, now I'm happy and this is the story and now I share it. It's actually exactly in these moments where you not all, typically you don't see people make videos. Occasionally, maybe some people, but typically you don't see people make videos when they're the most vulnerable or the most hurt or the most set down. And all of these points that I wrote down, they actually come down to one thing. That's my current state of mind. That's my current belief systems. The way I think about myself and my impact and the reason why we're here on this planet, or I don't want to talk in we. Obviously, I only know my side or my perspective. Let's start from the beginning and I will move into this topic. So exactly a year ago, I came up with the idea to expand this channel, and I'm already an expert in DaVinci Resolve iPad, but not every filmmaker wants to use DaVinci Resolve on the iPad. And I say that all the time here in my videos, DaVinci Resolve on the iPad is the same software. Even if you have some limitations, it's the same software. So over the last 3 years, I became a very good DaVinci Resolve user, expert, teacher. So it made just sense to create a DaVinci Resolve desktop course. And what many people still don't know, this is kind of funny because I got this comment like maybe 3 days ago on my German channel. There was someone saying like, what the hell? How is that possible? I was looking for that topic and I got 2 videos from you, Daniel. One in English, one in German. Is that AI? I had to laugh because it also proves me, it showed me 2 things. Obviously, no, if you're watching or someone else is watching, since DaVinci Resolve on the iPad came out, I published all of my videos about DaVinci Resolve and even Final Cut Pro in 2 languages. I have 2 YouTube channels. Obviously, the bigger one is the English one, which also reaches more people. And I'm actually thinking about, that's one of my struggles that I had in the last 1 year, I would say. I'm actually even thinking about ditching the German channel and only focus on one. Because over time it's not that it's not possible. I became very good at making 2 videos at the same time. And sometimes I feel like if I don't do it, what do I else do with my time? I know this sounds stupid because usually you have these kind of decisions based on, okay, how much time does it take to make these videos? Yeah, it's an additional 30% of your time. So if you would save that, that means every time you make a video, you save 30% and you could focus on something else. I get it, but that's not 100% true how my life or my way is structured at the moment. I'm not using all of my time efficient. And now this is like, it's kind of funny because I could make a video and tell you that I'm living the dream, that since 10 years now I'm a digital nomad and I travel around the world and I started a couple of online businesses, and the most successful so far is the DaVinci Resolve one. Not so successful that I actually can retire, I still have to push, but successful enough that I don't need another job, that I can live a very good life here in Bulgaria. And yeah, sometimes I became a bit lazy. If I tell you only that side of the story, it would sound like, yeah, Daniel, you don't want to work. Let's go back to the 2 videos. When DaVinci Resolve came out, and if you are a long-time watcher of this channel, or you maybe followed my journey since the beginning when DaVinci Resolve came out, you know that it's not true that I'm just lazy. That's a mischaracterization. I even had a burnout in 2023. because when DaVinci Resolve came out, I published 2 videos every single day here on the channel. And I did this for 276 days. And every time when I tell this story to other people, of course, that just blows their mind. This is like, most people can't even do that, right? My goal was actually to be daily for a complete year, but I reached the plateau. I needed some time off. And in 2024, like I could say that I stepped back and took time for me, but it's also not 100% true, because I kept publishing 2 videos a week, one in German, one in English. In 2024, I focused on publishing a lot of articles. So both of my YouTube channels, so the German one is called Phoenix Nomads, and the English one is that one that you're watching right now. Both of them also have a website. If you're a customer, you know that, because the login for the dashboard is either through email or through the website. So you can go to the website on the menu and there's a login. And because my past businesses, I had a travel blog, for example, about Canada. This is what I started in 2015 when I was living in Canada. I even published a book about Canada in 2020. Both, I like this business and my business after that one, also a travel business, but also with other countries. Anyway, don't want to go into much details. My main traffic there, besides YouTube, was blogging, like writing articles, including embedding the videos and just cross-promoting. It's just a form of marketing. And 2024, when I could now say that I was actually like, which is true, I was actually taking more time off and also struggling because I didn't knew how to scale the business. So let's come to the first problem that I have right now, even if it sounds stupid because I have a business that works, right? But on YouTube, I'm now on YouTube since 2016. I have like 5 channels right now. This is the biggest one with around 15K. I have my travel channel that has around 6K. I have the Phoenix Nomads channel that is reaching 2K. And I have a couple of ones that have 100, 200 followers. I know, diluted. That's one of the problems and issues, that I lose interest over time when I'm dedicated to something. So when I'm super interested in something and it's new for me, it's like the shiny object syndrome. I hear that just from my coach the other day. She digested that from me and she figured out that even when I do business, and let's say, for example, I started advertisement for Facebook with Facebook, so Meta, I was able to work and even work a lot. But she said to me that this is the same like shiny object syndrome, where there is something new, you learn something new, and then you do it because it's new, it's something different. But if you have to do the same thing that you already known, you procrastinate more, you tune off and you focus on something else. So why do I say that? I'm going all over the place. So one reason I say that is because I want to talk about the DaVinci Resolve Desktop Masterclass. I'm not even sure if I now mentioned that or not, but it's the first point, together with loneliness and my mindset stuff and my demons. Last year, so it made sense to me to expand and build a DaVinci Desktop Masterclass. Now I get it again. I told you that I have 2 languages, and it was kind of funny that someone even now, after 3 years posting videos, having over 400 videos about DaVinci Resolve in both languages, someone thinks AI copied me and created a complete different channel. It's kind of funny. So I started the masterclass last year, but instead of doing what I did with my iPad masterclass, so when iPad came out, DaVinci Resolve for iPad, Christmas 2022, I started to be daily and just collecting like lots of followers. I found the hack about unlocking all pages that gave me like a spike because I got a couple of shout outs. And then just on the way, I was always like being more transparent because I made a video every day. So some days I didn't make a video about DaVinci. Some days I was making a video like today where I went more transparent and maybe even ask like people like, hey, this is what I'm planning. I'm planning to build a course. Do you want a course? And what do you want? Like, tell me. But because I already had the knowledge, like I worked for 2 years on that masterclass that I have right now that has over 600 videos in total with lots of packs and everything. I had the outline, and basically the desktop version can be the same, just with the additional pages. and of course filmed, not on the iPad, filmed on the desktop. So I skipped that part of asking the audience, and I wrote down my outline and everything. And because I couldn't decide at that time, should I do it in German, should I do it in English, I just started with both. The funny thing is I even recorded like 4 modules. This was last year, June, July, August or something. And then DaVinci Resolve, I think 19 came out, and they introduced the German language. And I don't know why, but if I tell you this, and maybe it just surfaced something, some issue that I had with myself, with not really knowing where to go, because I mean, that is maybe the core problem, the why and where I'm going and how do I really help and what do I even want. The update came out with the languages and I stopped. I didn't focus on producing the masterclass anymore. And it's not that I didn't try. You don't believe, like for almost a year, how many times in the afternoon after doing my blog articles and working on the business, and I go home to my studio, I sit down, okay, now I record this. Just start. And I don't start. So many times I didn't start. And I felt frustrated. And also I didn't know if I want to do it. So it showed me a problem. Do you even want to do this in 2 languages? I mean, does my channel even want that? Like, what is happening? So I give you an example why this maybe from the outside is a problem, because when DaVinci Resolve 19 came out and now the German language was available, so you have the surface now, the UI, all in German, that means I could actually start from the beginning again, record everything, and for the German audience, actually change everything to German. And last year I was thinking about, if I do this and I push through it and I take like 3-4 months and finish everything, I would actually also be one of the first who has a German DaVinci Resolve Masterclass with the German UI. But somehow, just thinking about that made me stop, made me think about, do I really want that? I just worked already 3 months on it, and I could never make the decision. That's one of the issues. I could never really make the decision, kind of. This year I made the decision to not do it anymore. Not going back and recording everything in German, because I also don't really believe in the German UI. That's very sad for the people who are actually in Germany who don't really speak English. My father is one of them. But I believe that I don't know, I could be wrong, but I believe DaVinci Resolve is around now for 20 years-ish, and they never had the German UI. So if you learn DaVinci and you run into an issue and you search it up, 99% you will find a video that's the English surface, UI. That means you have struggled to find the German workaround, because in German they change basically everything. Every name is now different. Even if you go into the shortcuts, the same names for pages is now called modules. Like, people don't even find that anymore if they see the English version. So I had to make videos about that. And that also translated to my DaVinci Resolve iPad Masterclass. For 2 years I worked on the Masterclass. And technically, I could now record everything again in German to show them the same thing in the German UI. And I didn't want to do it. I'm really honest, I didn't want to do it, and also because I don't use it, because some translations are also garbage, so I have some explanations for that. And like I said, the 99% of videos out there are actually English, so I would be one of the only ones who actually create these in German. And again, maybe in the future, in 10 years, you will have a lot of videos in German as well. Anyway, but I think going back, like, one main reason why I did this in German was because the channel Phoenix Nomads was actually intended for a completely different business. At that time, we were trying to build a coaching business, my girlfriend and I together, trying to combine the knowledge that we had. So I had the knowledge about publishing a book, writing articles, creating a blogging business, like a website and everything, like the technical stuff, like how to set up your business, so how you get content, the YouTube site, videos, all of this packaged. But we struggled getting customers, and not because they are not customers, we struggled because that was the one thing we had to learn to actually go out and find customers. The only way that I always found customers was actually not going out, like outreach, cold outreach or something. My specialty was to record videos. I mean, even DaVinci Resolve today, I don't have any of the other social medias. My traffic comes completely here from the YouTube channel. And maybe it's my comfort zone. Well, obviously, it's my comfort zone because I did this now for many years. And that's the way I know how to do it. And when DaVinci came, it was a little bit of a release. I could just have fun. I could just like dig into it every day, find a small problem and solve it, and then also teach it and become even better because I teach it. By the way, that's one lesson you can take out of this video if you're watching until now and you want to start anything. The best way you become an expert is you don't have to know everything about it. You pick one topic, you learn it for yourself, and then you refine it and teach it. And the steps to, like, let's say, write an article, a script, or making a video, that will give you more clarity about what you just learned. And that is the reason why you become even better. And fun fact, if you document it like I did now, here in the internet, I am the iPad DaVinci specialist. But what many people don't know, not many, people who followed me along since like the beginning, they know that I didn't came from DaVinci Resolve desktop and moved to the iPad. I came from Premiere Pro. So yes, I had already filmmaking knowledge and editing knowledge from the past, but DaVinci Resolve was completely new to me. And I think if I would have never done the commitment for myself about, hey, try to be daily every day for 1 year, I maybe would have also never become the authority and the masterclass wouldn't exist. So that's actually very good. That's something you can take out of this video. If you want to become an authority in any area, you don't even have to be the expert yet. You can build it brick by brick and make a video about that. And then the fun fact is the audience, there will always be people who can learn from you. You don't have to be here to teach them. If someone is here, you can be here and teach them and lift them up. And then the next day and lift them up. That's exactly what I did. Every time I figured out something that usually shouldn't work on the iPad. These are also the types of videos that, to be fair, these are types of videos my channel doesn't get a lot of views. These are very specific. They are not for the beginners, right? So I make a lot of my videos actually for the people who joined me at the beginning, learned a lot about DaVinci, and now they want to figure out something that usually on the iPad wouldn't work, but I found a workaround with shortcuts or whatever, and then I made a video. Rambling too much. We're still in last year, August. So I stopped DaVinci Resolve, but I needed something to do. And because of the rise of AI and everything, which, by the way, there's also a reason why I feel a bit stuck and have my problems and my mindset stuff, is even if I, in 2024, created over 300 articles, I think for the English DaVinci Resolve website, and over 300 articles about DaVinci Resolve in the German website, it never really took off, which is interesting because all of my older businesses have way less articles lifetime on their website and have more traffic, and still had more traffic. I mean, all of them went down since the AI stuff happened. So I was also researching that this year, that even big websites, because of the AI rise and the way we now communicate and search for information. And I mean, perfect example, you go to Google. If you still search, there's a whole generation that only uses ChatGPT now and doesn't even Google anymore. And Googling will be a dead thing in the future. I still use Googling. But even if you Google, and I rely on that one now too, sometimes I can see that it's false. Gemini, or what is it called? The AI from Google that shows on the top. Sometimes if you ask for questions, you don't even go to a website anymore. That is a debate for a different video, of course, because I have two opinions about that. Number one, looking forward for technology and how everything changes. That's just the way how it is. It's always have been, and we have to adopt even as entrepreneurs. I know that. But obviously, being someone that is heavily affected on that makes a toll on me. I mean, AI is trained on everything that people like me in the past created for free. And the reason why we created that for free is that the traffic actually gets redirected to the pages. And if you want it to be on top on the page of Google or something, you put a lot of work in it. It's called SEO, search engine optimization. So there goes a lot of work in to be in the top spots. But now even the top spots don't get as much traffic anymore. So yeah, I didn't want to go into this topic, it's a different thing. But the reason why I say that and tell that is because this year I was questioning myself. Okay, I worked so hard on these articles. I published so many. Do they even matter? Do I even get customers from that? Because the traffic is so low. Does it even matter? And this, together with my many YouTube videos on my YouTube channel, brought me to a point where I was even thinking about what kind of entrepreneur am I? I want to reframe that. DaVinci Resolve iPad Masterclass actually just started in like 3 months. On one side, my business story is actually very inspiring because I started something, I jumped on an opportunity, and I was not the first, also very important. Sometimes you hear people when they say, yeah, you had it easy, you were the first or something. Not true. I never had beta access or something about DaVinci Resolve. Same like you, I'm just a normal regular user. Then when it came out, I purchased. I also got the studio version, and everything that I did here on this channel is just because I had access as a regular user. The only reason why I became now the expert is commitment, because I built something every day. So there could have been other people who were earlier to the game do the same, right? Just to point that out, because sometimes people try to have the excuse that, I'm too late. You're never too late. I mean, whatever you want to do, you can still do it because you have to get in the reps, like many other people also say. But here comes, okay, so the beginning of my story of DaVinci Resolve iPad is actually very inspiring because it didn't took me like 2-3 years to build that business. It took me like 3 months. Yes, hard work, dedication. Like at that time, I was creating 2 videos on 2 YouTube channels, and then I had the outline for the masterclass together built with people here on the channel. And then I just worked on the videos day in, day out. And especially for the first like 4 or 5 months in 2023. Later, it became less. So I wasn't working all day. I was making my YouTube videos and maybe one masterclass video, and then I was done. So sometimes in the morning, like the beginning of the day, I finished everything, and then after afternoon, I could do something else. But at the beginning, it was lots of work. But in just 3 or 4 months, I created a complete new income stream. At that time, that was monthly ranging in between 2 to 4K a month, euros, 2 to 4K euros a month, which was amazing for that business. And now let's come to I talked about the blog articles and how blah, 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 and now the YouTube videos. When you start on YouTube, you will learn from all these different YouTube gurus and people, and I'm not saying that it's wrong. I mean, in theory, that makes sense. If you create one video, you have one anchor point, or like in fishing, what is it called in English? The thing, right? And if you have one opportunity that people can come, you can get a fish. If you, of course, go fishing and you put 5 of them next to each other, you increase the chance by 5, right? So that's the mathematical idea behind creating YouTube videos. And obviously, not every YouTube video is successful. So number one, at the beginning, you have to learn to make good videos. So maybe that's why they always say create your first 100 videos, because the first 100 maybe will even suck. But you will learn a lot and then become better making them. But I would say I did my first 150 videos already on my other YouTube channel. I went into this DaVinci thing already knowing what worked and what didn't work for other projects. So I made all of this kind of work in front. And I even try to not work too hard on the stuff. So that's why most of my DaVinci videos are actually very short, because I was able, like on a daily basis, I was able to make a 2-minute videos and sustain that output. Because in the past, let's go one step back. When I decided and committed to being daily in 2023, this was not my first time trying to be daily. I was inspired 2015 and 16 from Casey Neistat, because he was daily making videos and vlogs. And before I went here with DaVinci Resolve daily, I actually did it, I think, 3 times before. First time it was 11 days, then I think I did it 22 days, and then another time I did it 46 days. The very first time I was way too perfectionism. I took like 8 hours editing each day, and after 11 days I didn't have sleep. I couldn't. I was too perfectionism, and my videos weren't even that good. I was too early in my career. The second time I was on a Australian road trip, which is still my travel channel. That's in German. And we were actually traveling together with friends. So I wasn't editing 8 hours anymore, but still I wanted to make nice vlogs. And it took me like 2, 3, 4 hours a day to edit these. And after like 22 days, or I forgot how many days, I couldn't do it anymore. The next time, I learned from my first 2 times that I was always too perfectionism. And I also learned about the power of habits, that you have to come into a habit to do it every day. So I was going to a workation in Tenerife with 2 other guys, Julian and Niels. And I decided for that workation, I will publish a video every single day. And because I was afraid to publish that on my travel channel, which was all about traveling, because to change the perfectionism, I told myself, you know what? I will just make a video about whatever comes to my mind on that day. I just tried to be daily for the whole time when we have the workation. And a week before I started, and I think I continued even like a week after the workation, we were 1 month in Tenerife. So there's lots of cool videos that existed and I created about Tenerife in Spain. And the beginning, I just turned on the camera, same like today, and just talking to the camera for 10 minutes and then off. No editing, nothing, just publishing for the first 7 days. Of course, these videos didn't get much views and everything, but they started keeping the ball rolling. And then I made more. And then eventually, while traveling and making vlogs again, I combined my knowledge from the past, and some videos I edited along until like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I remember one time I was still editing at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. Then I finished and I went to bed while one of the other ones, Julian, went and woke up. Oh yeah, okay. He woke up, I went to bed. Anyway. So I'm telling this because if you're inspired about making videos on YouTube, there's always a story behind. So when I did my daily stuff for DaVinci Resolve, I already had the experience the years before. And now, like in that time when I was in Tenerife, something interesting happened. So I started that channel that you now see here. So you can actually go back and see, these are the first like 46 videos on my channel. With these videos, something interesting happened. Somehow my vlogs, my travel videos or my rambling videos didn't get much traction. But my tech videos, every time when there was a problem with Premiere Pro or something with After Effects, I had to fix it and I found a solution. These videos picked up, but it was so funny because these videos normally took me only like an hour, sometimes half an hour to create, and they got me way more views and everything. And so, and this channel, even like at that time, it has 100 views, subscribers. But it didn't work on that channel anymore. I continued working on my travel channel, and this channel took off. I got my first 3,000 subscribers before I started DaVinci stuff, just because of that first 46 videos, and actually only because of like 10 videos that was technical solutions, which was crazy. Yeah, and then DaVinci Resolve came, and now I knew the way I now made my videos here. No sound effects, no music. All of this is amazing for videos, and I know how to do it. I did it in the past, but you did for that purpose, teaching you something, I didn't need it. So I could just focus on one thing, and I was able to create a video every day, even 2 videos. That is the only reason why, 2 videos. And because of that, I could sustain that for the 276 days that I did in 2023. Okay, that was a huge side story. Why did I say that? Because on YouTube, remember I talked about here like fishing. Every video that you place can be found in search, can be attracting new people to your channel. And yes, my channel grew. And if you now look at this and now I'm at 15K, you would say like, yeah, amazing, your channel is growing. But the monthly rate in which it grew Actually, the first like 4 months when DaVinci Resolve came out, I even reached like months where I had like 600. I think the peak was one time 700 new subscribers in 1 month. But then it slowly dropped down to now 300 subscribers a month. I'm not complaining. Way better than all my channels that I had in the past and my other channels. And that's actually growing. That's a success. But of course, as a business owner, you also try to do something to scale. Because if you scale, then maybe also your income can scale. You can help more people. But somehow, I get around 300 sales page visits, so my masterclass, 300 per month. Even now, 400 videos more about DaVinci Resolve, more about the subject on that YouTube channel. So either I suck, or that's the question. Of course, I don't suck completely, but this is the mindset thing. In my brain, Daniel, you suck. You create these many videos, and yes, they're helpful. I get all these positive response, but somehow your income doesn't scale. You create these 300 articles, but your income doesn't scale. So even if it was inspiring how fast I created the DaVinci Resolve iPad Masterclass and created a new income stream to my business, I wasn't able to scale that in the last 2 years. And that feeds my narrative about myself that I'm a failure. Obviously, I'm not a failure, but there is belief systems that I struggle since I started being an entrepreneur, and that's why it's not easy making these kind of videos, because who wants to be so vulnerable and tell like, hey, I actually think that I fucking suck. And of course, other people probably don't see it that way because you only see the outcome. But okay, where did this lead me? I stopped DaVinci Resolve Desktop Masterclass, but also I'm a personality. I cannot sit still. I have to do something, because if I sit still, I feel even worse. If I don't commit to something, if I don't publish something, I feel shit. Very honest. I feel like a failure. So in 2020, I published a book about Canada, because my first business was working holiday in Canada for the German audience. This is my first business, my first website. And I was very proud of this because it took me 4 years to publish this book. It's, I think, in the niche, the best book that you can get. But something I learned, if you publish a book in a topic that is outdated very fast, and travel industry, I mean, simple example, every year the prices changes, every year that and that changes. Like, travel industry is actually something that changes a lot. Like last year in 2024, a lot of the core messages are still the same, but a lot of the data in the book had to be updated. And a little bit of my story, when I left Germany in 2015, since that time, I wasn't really living in Germany anymore, and I'm a digital nomad. The first 4 or 5 years, I was doing the so-called working holiday visa. I went to Canada for 2 years, and then I went to New Zealand for a year, and I also went to Australia for 1.5 years. And when I created my Canada blog, I always was thinking about, hey, I can do actually the same now for New Zealand and Australia as well, because the Canada blog made me money, and also I became the authority in that one topic in Germany. No one else has a blog about Canada and the working holiday and all the steps and the guides and everything, and put so much work and time in it than me when I did it for almost 5 years. And I also created a lot of videos. I think this is what separated me, that I used 2 platforms to provide value in a market, in a niche that doesn't pay a lot. I learned a lot. Now I would probably try to build a complete different money model, a word that I now learned from Alex Hormozi. When my first business, I tested out a lot. For many years, I didn't even have my own products. I was having just affiliates, like the insurance or the credit card, or something that the people needed, and where I used, and I could tell, like based on my own experience, this is what I needed, this is why I used that, that's the best, that's the cheapest, blah, blah, blah. But that business never really made me a lot of money. And even if I worked like for 5 or 6 years. That's why I was so happy to switch into filmmaking more, because on all of my businesses before, I always used filmmaking as my driving force. I created YouTube videos and everything, and I became more passionate about that than actually the topic that I was talking about. But in my head, I even published a website in 2019, which is called workingholiday.blog. And on that website, I was always thinking about making articles and more topics about Australia and New Zealand. 2020, COVID pandemic happened, and I was actually also partnering up with Julian, the same guy that was in Tenerife, and we published articles about Australia on that website, Working Holiday blog. But because of the pandemic and travel was dead, even my Canada business was completely going down. I had to pay money back because people could travel and everything. It was crazy. I still finished my book at that time, but I also decided I don't want to really work in that business anymore. So we stopped that one. Why do I tell you this? Last year, and now with the rise of AI, I saw so many videos that people now making books with AI, and it's now so fast. And as an author that published a book and worked 4 years, I questioned myself. If someone who has no knowledge about this can make an AI book so fast, how much time will it actually take me if I take my outline from my Canada book and apply it now for the other countries? Because like I would say 60-70% of the book is the same. That's my story, that's my experience. So what I learned about, I did 3 years van life. So I lived in a van at the beginning of my business career to save money and also to travel around. It was amazing. I learned a lot about minimalism and it was an amazing experience. Not everything perfect, but in this video, I don't want to talk about the van life thing, just that you know. So I became the expert in that because I did it for so many years. Also, I'm one of the few only Germans who even got a second visa in Canada, which is normally not possible. All of this I talk about in my book and everything. And last year, when I was so down, I looked into this opportunity again. Okay, why not create the other 2 books? Make an update for my Canada book and create the other 2 books. And I also have to tell you, I want to be transparent. It's not that I make a lot of money with my Canada book. My Canada book averaged around 100 to 150 euros per month. So that was also one of the feeds that I got from my internal story, my internal narrative. Like I created the book, I worked for 4 years. I became better in business knowledge, but many times when I look back and look at my book, I feel like, what kind of entrepreneur am I? I worked so much on that it everybody else who is basically just sitting at home and getting money from the government makes more money than I was creating in 5 years. That's sometimes I thought. Yes, I learned a lot of lessons. And this is the shift that I have to do in my mind that, okay, these were my playgrounds. These were my lessons to learn and become a better entrepreneur, right? And even if it doesn't make much money, it will translate like DaVinci Resolve. That's also one reason why this story is so inspiring. If I wouldn't have done this before, I would have never been able with the skill set and the mindset and the video skills to just focus on that and create a new income stream in 3 months. And so I'm very proud of that. I was looking into this with the books, and the other guy that was in Tenerife, Niels, he actually has a website about New Zealand. It's a fun fact. Both of them have a website about New Zealand. That's why I also partnered with the guy for Working Holiday project to work on that in 2020, because instead of I have my own website about Australia, he was thinking about creating a website about Australia. So we were just combining our knowledge and power and thought, like, instead of being competition, let's just do it together and make it bigger. That was the idea. And the other guy, Niels, he also has a website about New Zealand, and he transitioned to rental and camper buying and stuff like that. And when I was looking into my books, and now from an entrepreneur perspective, okay, my books for Canada only make around 150. For Australia and New Zealand, I don't even have a platform. I don't really have much. I have a couple of videos on my YouTube channel because I changed the name from Working Holiday Canada to Working Holiday while I was living in New Zealand. At that time, I was already knowing that I don't want to make videos about Canada only. So that's why my channel represents actually the possibility to go into every country that has Working Holiday, to make content about that. And I'm talking already so much that now I'm thinking about this as maybe just therapy for myself, and I'm not sure if I should publish this. My idea was to make it 10-minute videos, and I'm 40 minutes into it. This is crazy, and who is watching that? Seriously, if you watch that, if I decide to publish this, why are you watching this? Why are you listening to this for 40 minutes? I don't know if there's any value in this. continue, because now I started the story, I want to finish it. I have these points here. So I was thinking about, if I make these books with AI and my knowledge, and I should be faster, instead of 4 years, how much time does it really take me? And can I start something that maybe on the upper end, an upsell or an affiliate partnership that will make me more money in the future? At the beginning of last year, Niels contacted me because he was thinking about expanding his business from just New Zealand to Australia and maybe Canada. And obviously that would fit perfectly because I have the Canada blog, I have already the authority there and the traffic and everything. And at that time I said no, because I know also from a business perspective, you shouldn't dilute yourself. And that's maybe also one lesson that you can take out of this video, because not everything worked out. I will tell you the story in a second, or in a minute or 2 minutes. At the beginning of the year, I said, I don't want to dilute my focus. I have this filmmaking business. I want to focus on that and continue on that. And actually, I outgrown my travel business. I'm not sure if I want to go back in the travel business. But then, because I was struggling and didn't move and didn't work on the MasterClass for the desktop, I said to myself then, okay, maybe this is a part of me. Now with this DaVinci thing, I completely cut off a part of my history, my story, and I never really talk about this. So who am I? This is also feeding into this identity crisis that I have, that who am I? What does it mean that I did 4 years, 5 years of working holiday, and now this year I crossed the 10-year mark. I'm now gone since 10 years. In 2025, I left Germany. Since that time, I'm traveling around the world. What the fuck? What does it mean? Who am I? These are the questions. So I contacted him because I thought, wait a second. In even my Canada book, I have a whole chapter about van life and telling about my story, but I have no affiliation in it. That could be changing the money game a bit. Maybe not a lot, but a bit. And then I asked him, like, okay, I don't have the time to work on something like this full time because I want to keep focusing on my video stuff. But I could think about it in part time. And he agreed. He was never thinking about full time, and all of them, like Julian is also working for him, the other guy with New Zealand. So now the three of us together back. That was last year before November. And we decided to test this for 1 year and build something, and a commitment for 1 year. And because of that, I finished my books almost. It was only the last chapter and the van life stuff that was missing already in October last year with AI. A little bit side story there. So with AI, it's not as easy. I use ChatGPT. It's not as easy as just click and hear. And I was even able to give him information based on my Canada book, because I didn't reinvented the wheel new. So I knew that I would use the exact same outline that I used for my Canada blog, and I apply it for Australia and I apply it for New Zealand. And then at the same time, when I went page by page, every time when it was country related, then of course I had to do my research, use my knowledge and the new knowledge, the updated things, and change that. And even then, AI is hallucinating, especially ChatGPT. You wouldn't believe how many times he did mistakes, he didn't follow instructions, he didn't do what he was supposed to do. Was a struggle. Still faster. So after 2 months, I worked from that like October and August, September. I started in August, and September, October, I finished these books. And so it's nice. You can actually write a book. But if you write a book about a topic you are not the expert on, how can you monitor and see if the AI is doing garbage? Because not everything was good. And don't forget, in my project, I had already done the work of 4 years creating a book, not with AI, but myself. So I could use that. I could tell him, write in that voice. It's like this, we have this. And like even then, he didn't follow the instructions. So like for every topic in the book, I always had to go like 10 times back and forward until that topic, sub-chapter was finished. And then I continued with the next and the same. So it was struggle, but yes, in the end, it took me only 2 months to finish the other 2 books. Fast forward to November, I started that new business on the side. I kept working on here, creating a video every week, but I worked on a complete new business, and I want to speed up the version, what I learned from that business. And even if I speed it up, That story, again, was feeding in my narrative, in my story, that what kind of entrepreneur am I? At the moment, I have this feeling that whatever I touch is just falling apart. And yeah, so I worked with them from November until now, I think June. And I built the infrastructure, the automations and everything, not completely fresh. He had everything built for New Zealand. But to give a rough outline, at the beginning of this partnership, we said that we want to combine our skill sets. His skill set, so the founder of his website's called KeyRequest, his skill set is automation programming. My skill set is actually videos, content, and maybe also like my brain as an entrepreneur. And when we said at the beginning we want to combine that, I was actually thinking that I could use more my skill set. But to be fair, at the beginning I was actually just working on automations. It wasn't just click, copy, and apply, and now we have a new country. I don't want to go into details, also out of respect, but I can tell you one thing, I was struggling a lot. I was struggling a lot because we didn't really follow one path. And I'm also guilty for that. For example, in 2017, because of my van life experience, I purchased a domain called van2life.com. And I kept this domain because maybe in the future I will use my van life knowledge and make something out of it, because I think the name is amazing. And I pitched that while we were working on the new stuff. And instead of focusing on the original idea to let's first start with one market, which would be Canada, which would make the most sense. Now, his website is in German about New Zealand. My website is in German about Canada. We swapped and changed that idea and started with Van to Life. That became my project under his umbrella. And the problem with this one is Van to Life is too big because we wanted to support Australia, we wanted to support New Zealand, we wanted to support Canada, and we wanted to do it in two languages, German and English. And he has two projects, so two products. He has a rental product and he has a finished buy a camper product. And that was all over the place, okay, to be fair. It was just all over the place. It was just all over the place. And keep in mind, I told you the story that all three of us wanted to only dedicate part-time, but we were building a much bigger business. Yeah, out of respect, I didn't want to give too much details, but I think this is maybe a learning lesson about partnerships. So why did it not work out in the end? A couple of reasons. Number one, we never had a contract. And the more this one was dragging out, and I could see that now all of the work was actually putting on my shoulders, I didn't see the reason why I should continue this. Because then I could have just built this on my own. Not that I wanted to do this. From him, always the opposite attack came that, yeah, I don't know, I'm also at risk, you can steal everything that I built. I went into a partnership because, and you hear that out of my video, I was on a path in my way that I was a bit lost where to go. And I think one main reason why I ended up here, besides 10 years traveling and all the time, continuing being here and every 3 months somewhere else, lots of digital nomads have this issue because we escape it. We move just to the next place and everything is new for a month. And then when the problems start arising, we just continue moving. And that's actually now the first time that I stayed now in a place longer. I'm here in Bansko in Bulgaria right now. And since last year, we decided to build a home base here. And yeah, the second part, back to the partnership. The second part is because I wanted to build something not alone anymore, to not have the head on everything. Because when you are a solopreneur, even if it sounds romantic, you do everything. And if you do everything, you can't dedicate all your energy to one thing. But sometimes to grow and make your business bigger, it is actually better to focus on one thing and not focus on everything. It makes sense, right? But this is how you deal at the beginning if you're a solopreneur. And so my main reason to have this partnership, even if it wasn't about filmmaking, was to not focus on everything anymore. But just the project Van to Life, for example, is his own business. No traffic yet, no customers yet. Everything had to be built. And he was basically always like, he got me into the boat because he thought he can pay me and I build everything. But for that, I found it wasn't an equal opportunity. And when I pressed the charges, because the stress also raised in me, when I pressed the charges, how does it now work? Like, if we do this, I need certainty. We don't even have a contract. You could just immediately push me out and I'm out. Like, I want certainty. If I really build this and the Van to Life brand and I dedicate so much time, I want to make it proper. Also, and I'm not going into all of the details because until that point when I pressured him, like I said, it was all over the place. He didn't focus on one thing. And I could tell you, I have somewhere in my notes, I could tell you probably 10 different times when we said A and then we moved B. And then we said B and then we moved C. And then we said this and we did. Just made no sense. And maybe that in the end, this is good what happened because this is just stressful for everyone. But my intention with pushing towards a contract was more clarity and not the end of our partnership. He responded and told me at that time that, yeah, he feels the same with the stress and everything, but he can't commit to anything. He became very honest that this was just a test for him to see if he can rekindle the fire for that project, because he lost the fire for that project already years before. And I'm actually stupid because he was even talking to me like maybe 2-3 years earlier that he doesn't really want to work with this anymore, maybe even thinking about selling it. So I knew that, but I kind of became blind. I thought when we put this together that, yeah, maybe, I don't know, transparency, right? This is one lesson that you can take out of it. Be careful when you do partnerships. You learn some things, but of course, now my narrative, when this happened, he offered me like to pay me just 2 more months and then that's it, the partnership is over. The big problem that I still have to this point, and this is now just different perspectives, he thinks he paid me money, so he owes everything that I built. I think I didn't build this because I got paid. I was actually building something because I wanted to build something for myself as well. Like, I mean, even in my books, I promote his business. And now I'm out. He has all the structure. He could now just start advertisement. I even figured out that he doesn't even, like, you know, many businesses struggle with advertisement and ads. He has a 7-to-1 return of investment in his business. He never did the calculation to figure that out. Or at least he didn't show me. I asked for that a couple of times. And I was doing this, and technically he can now just do the same in the months because it's seasonal business, right? I get it. In some seasons you don't make as much money, but the 7-to-1 return of investment is over a year period. That's the yearly average. So that means he had months where it was even 10 or 12-to-1. Anyway, why I'm saying this is because now the structure is there. In the first couple of months, I built everything, the whole foundation. And he's not deleting that, of course, because it's now intellectual property from him. He has it. And we never had a contract, so I can't even say, hey, give it to me, it's mine. And I don't want to build that kind of business for myself. How do I say that? You can even hear it maybe now when I talk about the story. I'm honest, after that, I fall into another hole. And again, had in my perspective, a narrative of whenever I touch doesn't really work out. And that's very hard, because on one side I could now stand here, like I said, I could stand here and tell you, hey, I'm living the dream since 10 years. Like, I built so many things that other people are dreaming about. I escaped the 9-to-5. I don't have to work for someone else anymore. I even build it so that most of my income is passive. Like, while I'm talking to you, someone can purchase my books or my courses and ka-ching. It's never passive, but it's a topic for a different video. But I build it so that I don't actively trade my one-on-one time. It's not that I have to do this job, and if I don't do the job, I don't get paid. The perfect example was 2024, when I was struggling. It was crazy because some months I actually made good money, and in these months I was playing League of Legends on my iPad. And this was a strange realization, because I had years before where I worked 80 hours a week, and I didn't make much money. And now I didn't work as much and I made more money. Like, even I think even that somehow fucked up my brain. it's just like, I can't really tell you what that really made. I didn't really understand. We are crossing the 55 minutes mark. That's a big thing. That's what I just told you about this partnership, because it was ongoing, right? From November to June, July. It was a big part, a big commitment. In that time, I could have finished the DaVinci desktop masterclass if I focused on that. Or I have another idea since like a year sitting on my shelf, which is actually a smartphone guide. I want to create a smartphone beginner guide to show you how to use your smartphone, because as nomads or traveling around lightweight, what do you have in your pocket? So it made totally sense even with my brand, right? Oh yeah, I published these 3 books this year. While I was working on Kiwi Quest, I also published these books, which was more traffic also coming to the Van to Life at the Kiwi Quest project. Yeah. Okay, recent events. With my last big video about the update DaVinci Resolve, I also announced that I have now a free community. But I'm not sure if it's actually a good move. If you joined the community, I get it. You're supporting that. You joined it. I also give free resources. It's never bad to give something free, right? But let me explain. When it's free, overall, most people don't value it. It's just a matter of fact. How many times did you download something for free and then actually used it? And maybe the free thing was even as valuable as a $1,000 course. But because it's free, this is something that happens here psychologically, we don't value it. Not all, of course. Maybe you read it, maybe you get something out of it. Like some people joined the community, some people are active in the community. But overall, it's not the same as if you would pay for it. Give you an example. If you join a high-paying group because you want to exchange, like any group, I'm not just talking about internet. Imagine we say in Germany Verein. I don't know the English word for that. Like let's say you go to a soccer club. Usually even the soccer club costs money if it's a good one. If it's a really good one, you pay even more. But because you pay, you're also more, how can I say, your commitment is higher. If you pay for it, and the higher the money is, the bigger your commitment becomes. So I was thinking a lot in the last couple of days. If I want to help as many people, and I was thinking about if I give something for free, like my YouTube videos, then I help a lot of people. True and not true. True that people can get my stuff for free and it helps them if they need it in that moment. But if someone, let's say, for example, wants to really learn DaVinci Resolve, and now we come to the last topic of that video. Let's say someone really wants to learn DaVinci Resolve. I have the data from over 400 customers in the last 2 years in the DaVinci Resolve iPad Masterclass. You can count on 2 hands how many really finished the Masterclass. Okay, one problem is probably because the Masterclass is big, there's lots of videos in it. But the other thing is many people buy something if it's like not limited by time or if it's too cheap. I'm not saying that the Masterclass is cheap, it's still money. And many of my audience, especially if you are coming from a country that is not Western, for you it's very expensive. But fun fact, if someone from India actually purchased my course, these are more likely that finish the course because for them it's expensive. But for someone in Germany or in US, 147 is not really expensive. So, I'm struggling about this, and I have now this with the free community where I even give free videos. I have a free beginner course in it. And do I really help people with this? And the answer is no. So now I feel again like a failure because I created a free community. I mean, it's a test. It's not a failure. It's always learning. This is the mindset shift that has to happen in my brain as well. But here's what I want to do. And at that point, I'm just saying thank you because even now I get tired of talking too much about it. It's hard to bring all of this into the camera. 60-minute mark. So here's what I was going to do. Because I plateau also with my business. And there's 2 solutions. I either ditch the business and I build something completely new that hopefully makes more money in the future, or I try to help my audience better and at the same time recreate the money model, recreate my business. And so for the last couple of days, I was working a lot on that, and I have some plans. It's not finished, but I have some plans. So first of all, I will ditch the free community because I think it makes no sense. Maybe later I will make a paid community, because here again, like in a club, if you only get people in that really want to succeed, then you can also help each other. Now in the free community, you write something. I mean, the first challenge this week was to make introduction posts, and I think 2 people did it. But we have 400 members in this community. That's a perfect example. There's no stake in the game. It's a free community, who cares? I don't want to have that. This will not help people. So that's why, if I want to help people, I want to make a community, that either you get the community access because you purchased the product, like I tried to do in the past, or I will make a dedicated community, but this is still in the future, I'm just telling you some of my ideas, or I will make a dedicated community that focuses on accountability and challenges, where we, in 30 days, finish a pro video or something. And this is my plan at the moment. First of all, I will create a so-called decoy offer, an attraction offer, maybe around $27, where there is a beginner course in, where I will give a couple of LUTs about transitions and maybe cheat sheets. So I will probably call that the starter kit for DaVinci Resolve iPad. That should be cheap enough for most people here on this channel to get started, to have tools, to be faster. So with that, I think I help a lot of people. But then the next step, instead of selling my masterclass as it is right now, because the truth is the masterclass, I mean, there's a lot of value in it, but if you don't commit to it, then why are you even buying the masterclass? So I want to create something, and I'm thinking about a 30-day bootcamp where, with accountability, challenges, and even video reviews, and especially the first 30 days are structured. So instead of here's the massive masterclass, go by yourself, I will actually guide you through that process. So that after 30 days, and we do it bite-sized, so I don't want to create something that is already from the start overwhelming. We do it bite-sized, but commitment and habit. Every day something for 30 days. So that after 30 days, you get a pro video, all done with DaVinci Resolve on the iPad. That you can increase the skills on how you make videos. Use like at the same time, the 30 days, I will teach you what you normally would learn in the masterclass by yourself if you commit, but more guided, accountability. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, more plan I don't have. I could have made a 2-minute video telling you the plan, that you know it. I don't know when I will take off the community. And also at the same time, I wanted to share the struggle. I don't have a solution, so I want to maybe finish the video on that. Usually you see people telling you their story. This is what I did, this is what happened. Then I fell down, and this is what I did to come out of it. It's a nice arc in storytelling. I don't have this arc, I'm very honest. It could be that I'm now trying something with this starter kit and it fails again, and I'm maybe feeding my story about what kind of entrepreneur am I. But I wanted to be honest and share that, and maybe also tell you what actually happened here in the background. If you're German, you want to see my books, they are on Amazon about Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. So yeah, I have some wins under my belt for this year, but obviously there's a side of me that thinks like, yeah, is it really a win if nobody really buys these, even if they're helpful? And I'm not blaming the people. It's my fault, right? I'm not going back to build another business about Australia, and then I could promote the book. So that is what happens. And this is maybe also very good for you if you're planning to publish a book in your niche. But if you're not known, who's buying the book? With my Canada blog and Canada book, even if it's not a lot of money, I solved the problem first. For almost 5 years, I created one of the biggest websites about working holiday in Canada in German. And then when I published my book, I already had an audience. And even now, this is the funny thing, after that, I focused on my video stuff and I did not much marketing. I did not work on it. And I probably should, because when you publish a book, I have that from the self-publishing school. There's also a podcast about that. The real marketing challenge and the real work sometimes starts after you publish the book. Many people think the book itself is the work. It's a lot of work, I can tell. But afterwards is when it starts to become a lot of work. And I didn't do it. Luckily, I created my website before. So I did a lot of this marketing work beforehand. Let's finish this video. 1 minute, 1 hour, not 1 minute, 1 hour, 5 minutes. These are my thoughts. These are my challenge. This is my vulnerability video. This is my transparency. And if you watched until here, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Over and out. I'm Daniel. Bye.